Well, here we are with the Quad Cities Storm. We have team president Gwen Tombergs and broadcast and media communications manager Brian Rothenberger here with us to talk about the team. So obviously inaugural season here for the Storm and a lot of excitement just to bring hockey back. And so now that we're a few months into the new season, just some initial thoughts here as we wrap up almost the third month of play.
It's been a lot of fun. Fun for me, especially coming in kind of late to everything, getting here about a month before the season started to see how passionate this area is about hockey. That's been probably the biggest standout to me. It's shown in the crowds we've had, and they've had a fun team to cheer on. You know, you never know what you're going to get with a new team in a league that is unfamiliar to the area, but I've been impressed with the team that Dave Chinichi was able to assemble, how they have played so far, and I think there are even more good things to come throughout the rest of the year.
Been a fun ride so far, and yeah, looking forward to more hockey here in the near future, just coming up this next week. Gwen, speaking as the team president, you know, a lot going on behind the scenes as well. What's it been like for you over the past few months? I'm sure it's been busy, but a lot of fun as well.
You know, it's been a little crazy. 130 days between me walking in the door and us opening our doors.
It's wild.
So, but you know what? Our staff came together. Brian was our last hire, which was the cream, you know, the icing that we needed on our cake. So, but we're really proud about what we've done so far, because a new team, like Brian said, you never know what's going to happen, and we are 30% higher in attendance than this time last year. So we're very proud of how many people are coming out to support us.
Yeah, I mean, Brian mentioned how much they love hockey out here, and that's certainly shown in those attendance numbers. And also, you know, when I remember when the announcement was made and we kind of, you know, had you guys talking about just some of the things to expect, one of the biggest things that you wanted to point out was the community outreach aspect of things and how the Quad Cities Storm were going to be connected directly here with the Quad Cities community. And I think nearly $35,000 in donations so far just this season. So, Gwen, talk a little bit about what's gone into that, and just, you know, I'm sure you're very pleased with those numbers so far.
We're very excited. You know, when the owners bought the team, they wanted to be the community's team. And so the best way to do that is to give back to nonprofits. And so what we did was create a very aggressive fundraising program that basically says we are going to give money from every single game to a nonprofit. So we do that by giving Chuck-a-Puck money every single game, at least 50 or 100% of that, to a nonprofit. But then we have a way for nonprofits to bring groups out, and we write them a check just for bringing a group out to a game. And just like you said, in our first 13 games, we've given away almost $35,000 back to the nonprofits with still a lot of games to go. So this is very exciting for us.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, you mentioned we're still moving along here, so that's not even a final number. That's still growing every day, so that's exciting right there. And then, you know, before we move on to more about the team with you, Brian, where can people, I guess, be engaged in this and be active in helping out with these donations? You know, give them an idea of how they could be a part of it as well.
Well, like I mentioned, if a nonprofit or even a for-profit brings out a group and identifies that as a fundraiser for a nonprofit, what we do is we give back $8 of every $20 ticket and $5 of every $15 ticket. So literally, I mean, it's that easy for someone to come to a game, bring a group, we turn around and write them a check. But the really cool thing is that we have this new ticketing program that we use in our office, and it's called FIVO, which no one's going to remember that. But it allows people to sit in the same section, but all pay for their own ticket. And so now you don't have to deal with the money and tickets and who's going to pay whom or whatever. You just share a link. The link has the information on it, and so it has the game information. If there's a giveaway, the nonprofit can even market themselves on this page, and then you share that link and everybody buys their own tickets right there. So
super convenient.
Everybody, all you have to do is share a link and we write you a check.
There you go. Can't get much easier than that, that's for sure. Brian, you know, you're the media relations guy, but outside of that, you do the play-by-play here for the team. So perhaps nobody more familiar with the guys on the ice than you. So coming to you just with, you know, the start to the season here. Obviously some struggles along, but they had some nice win streaks as well, and were able to put things together. You mentioned it's difficult with a brand new team to get everything together. I'm sure you've seen some improvements here, especially in the recent month and a half.
Certainly, and I think starting this past week we saw a glimpse of it. In the next couple weeks we'll see more. Things are, I guess you could say, coming back together. The Storm have been hit as hard as anybody by an injury bug and call-ups. You know, the SPHL has really emerged as kind of the the single A team for hockey, the single A league for hockey. And because of that, the skill level is high enough that they're feeding the AA and AAA leagues. And it's great because you like to see these players get their shot and succeed. We just lost Joe McEwen for a couple games. He was our top goal scorer, top point getter at the time. He got called up to Toledo, played well. We hope to get him back soon because we like having him out for us. But it is tough to work through. You're bringing in new guys. There's some unfamiliarity, but we are starting to get guys back. Guys are starting to get healthy. Austin Hervey's returned for us, played very well in his first game back. And I think really the notion I've got is that the Storm have done a great job of kind of keeping their head above water. They want to be higher in the standings. Right now they're in the last playoff spot, actually, in the 8th seed. So a chance to climb as the season goes on. And I think things are going to be trending upwards from here on out.
And quickly to that point, Eric Levine, he was one of the stars of this team, the goaltender, and he got called up as well. And now he's with another team. But then you got Peter DeSalvo, who's just as good of a goaltender here, and he's been playing well for the Storm as well. So have you seen really some of the goaltending being a key component to this team so far this year?
It's been absolutely huge. Pete DeSalvo and Eric Levine are both for this league considered to be older guys. They're late 80s birth years, which sounds young to everybody.
Yeah,
but
right.
in the league, they are some of the older guys, and there was some question coming into the season whether they may or may not have another season in them. And they have showed everybody they absolutely do. Eric Levine, talking about the call-ups, he went on one of the craziest rides you'll see. He got called up to Fort Wayne in the AA, didn't even play a game, shot right up to the AAA. So he was a step away from the NHL. Ended up not playing in a game, came back down to Fort Wayne, but before he could even play in a game here, he was back in the Quad Cities, got called up by another team. So he's in Newfoundland now, playing with the Growlers. But in the meantime, we've had Pete DeSalvo, who's been unbelievable. He's got 6 wins on the season. He is locked in and night out. And Dave mentioned it earlier in the season. He's like, sometimes it's nice to be able to blame a game on your goalies. They just didn't have it. We've not been able to do that this year.
Right.
They have been really, really strong so far.
Yeah, bright spot for the team, no doubt. Well, stick with us. Back with Gwen Tombergs and Brian Rothenberger of the Quad City Storm after this, talking some promotions that you can look forward to for the rest of the season. Stay tuned. That's coming up after the break.